So what's the best way to finish a Mandalorian helmet? Graphite powder or Duralumen and an airbrush? I'm going to show you both of them and let you make the choice today on Darth Rage Reviews.
Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
Greetings, Force fans, and welcome to another episode of Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force. As always, guys, business first. If you haven't, please hit that subscribe button. It's going to cost you nothing. You've got no limit to the amount of people you can subscribe to, so it really is nothing but pressing a button. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you're also notified when I'm dropping videos, because I drop videos all the time, like the giveaway video I just did for this helmet. You could have won it had you hit that subscription bell, so make sure to hit that, guys. All right, business out of the way. Now it's time for the fun. So a little while ago, my good friend Elvis over at the Blues Bro and I kind of got into a bit of a competition, if you will. It's not really a competition, it's more of a comparison. We wanted to compare the two processes for finishing a Mandalorian helmet, the two kind of main processes. There's a graphite rub, which I did on this one, and then there is a Duralumen or a Lumiluster and an airbrush and some 2K clear coat that Elvis did on this one. So we really wanted to kind of compare the two processes just to see what looked better. Real quickly, I want to break down kind of what the cost that goes into them so you understand that as well, because bottom line is which one looks better. It's absolutely Elvis's helmet. This looks so much better than the one that I did. I don't know that the camera is really going to pick it up. I'm going to add some still shots a little bit later, some beauty shots, so you can really compare them, hopefully in a little bit of a better situation. The camera here is probably making them look a lot closer than what they actually are. So hands down, if you want an accurate looking, the best looking helmet out there, you're going to want to go with the airbrush and a Duralumen or a Lumiluster. If you don't want to go through the problem of getting an airbrush and spending $25 for a bottle of 2K clear coat, then graphite powder is probably the way to go. Because honestly, for camera use, and unless you're standing next to somebody that has a airbrushed version of it, most people will not be able to tell the difference between the two. So what goes into this? So the beginning processes were basically the same for both of them. We both started with a raw 3D print that we had to sand down, Bondo spot, glazing spot putty. I did use a layer of fiberglass resin on mine. I just find that kind of strengthens the helmets, makes it easier to sand. So it was a slight difference, but that whole process was the same. And then we applied, I did a flat black and then a gloss black coat. And I don't know if he did a flat black first, but also a gloss black coat. So the processes were really identical up to that point. And then after that point, I went with the graphite rub and a standard 2X clear. So it's like a $6 bottle of clear coat on this. Graphite rub is $20 for a container of it that I did all my armor with, several props, this helmet, or two helmets, and I've maybe used 5% of it. So not very expensive at all. So you're really looking at a $6. If you're taking apart the first process, it was identical. You're looking at a $20-something bottle of graphite rub and a $6 bottle of clear coat, that you can get at any hardware store. So for this process, and forgive me, I'm going to have to read this off of his because I reached out to Elvis just to find out exactly what went into this. But Duralumen for a small 4-ounce bottle for this is $20, and he really used probably the majority of it on this helmet. You can get a rattle can of Max 2K Clear for $25, so that's the clear coat that he used there. He usually purchases it by the gallon. It's $150 that way, and he uses his compressor for it. So you don't want to get into all that unless you have a compressor or want to buy a compressor or plan on doing a whole lot of clear coating. Then you may want to buy it by the gallon. So you're looking at $25, $20 for the paints, and then for his airbrush, which is just a Harbor Freight brand airbrush, it's right around $100. So really about $150 for this compared to about $25 for this. And that's kind of what you've got to ask yourself is, is it worth the difference? Now, it's not a completely accurate because you're going to have an airbrush afterwards, so that it's not an apples to apple comparison. But if you were starting with nothing, you would have to purchase the airbrush, and so you're looking at $150 compared to $25. Is it that much of a difference? I mean, to me, I think this is still worth that. It's, just an excellent looking. I mean, I can see my reflection in it from here. This, I can tell that I'm here, and I can't tell it's me here. I mean, it's like looking in a mirror. It's that nice. So, really, it to me, I think it's worth that. Now, the other aspect in it is I don't know how well this is to handle. Like when you rub against stuff, the constant taking off and putting it on, will it dull the surface out? I'm a little scared to actually touch this helmet because I don't want to get fingerprints on it. I don't want to, get all that on it. My thought was when I saw this, I was like, oh crap, I'm going to have to send all my stuff to Elvis and have him repaint my stuff for me. And then I started thinking about it, like where the bandolier goes against the armor there, that it would probably rub it all off there. And without having a way to repair it myself, I think it'd be a waste because I would spend the money and then I'd have to send it back to him in 2 or 3 months just to have him do it again. Because, I'm putting this thing on and taking it off at least once a week. And with the amount of use that I'm putting into it, I don't know if that would work. Another thing to think about is that the graphite powder will hide imperfections much better than this will. It's still, the imperfections will still show up and you got to do a shit ton of sanding to get this thing glass smooth, but this will hide them better than this will. And I can't imagine the amount of sanding that Elvis did for this. I mean, you cannot tell that this had any layer lines or anything like that at all. It's that pretty. It really is that pretty. So, to me, for a fair comparison, I mean, it really just depends on kind of what you're looking to do. I think ultimately I'm probably going to buy myself an airbrush just because of the amount of detail work that you can do with them. There's just a whole lot more you can do with an airbrush. And had I had an airbrush, the prices would really be comparable for both of these because it's $20 for Duralumen compared to the, maybe it was $5 worth of the graphite powder that I used, maybe. So it's really a comparable price if you have the airbrush. So, my thought is if you have an airbrush already, absolutely go with the Duralumen. And Duralumen is much cheaper than a Lumiluster. I'm not exactly sure. I think it'd be about like 4 times as much for a Lumiluster. It's very expensive. And that's the paint that they actually used for the show. So, if I already had an airbrush, I'd absolutely go with this route because then I could repair it myself, when I got those dinks and dings and rub-offs on it. But without the airbrush, I think that this is a very good alternative. So it really kind of boils down to what do you want to spend? What kind of equipment do you have? But I think these are 2 very comparable processes. So real quickly, I do want to take you through, put some still shots up here so you can really see the detail work that went into these helmets. So Elvis's helmet is, this is just a masterpiece. It's a thing of beauty. It's like a mirror finish all the way around it. Again, I'm almost afraid to touch it. The graphite, it looks good. There is a reflection to it. If you're not standing next to somebody that's got shiny, shiny, shiny armor, again, I don't think most people would even tell the difference or tell that this wasn't, a shiny chrome, because it does look good. It's a great alternative to it. But for me, it just doesn't compare. You put them side by side and you take a look at these 2 helmets and, it really does not compare. Again, hats off to Elvis for the amount of sanding that he did to get this thing this smooth. Really, really beautiful. So, all in all, I think Elvis is, if it was up to me, I think Elvis, wins this. Granted, he had better equipment, better materials, but I do think he wins it. The one area where I feel like I won is, so if you look at this right here, you can see that's all nice and smooth on that edge right there, nice and smooth. Elvis missed a little spot right there, and sorry to rub it in, where he probably should have put a little Bondo spot glazing spot putty to cover that up, but that's the only area where my helmet is better than Elvis's helmet, is that right there. He got it really good on the other side, but this side right here, you can see some of the layer lines coming in under there. So in that spot, I win. Oh, did you leave? He did. He even left the inner part black. I didn't do that. You know, that's this inner ring here is supposed to be black, so he left that gloss black. Dude, my hats off to you, because that is really a beautiful helmet. And guys, he's giving this helmet away. It's, you know, great news. He's going to give this away to one of his subscribers. Excuse me. It's not COVID. Give this away to one of his subscribers. So go head over to the Blues Bro and subscribe to his channel. There is a link in the description to it. And then let me know in the comments, what do you think? You know, is the Graphite a good comparison to the airbrush Duralumen? Which way would you go? Which one would you do? Just let me know what you think. Again, for my uses, for what I'm doing with the video, you can't really tell that this isn't the same as that. And with the amount of scratching and use that I do, I think, you know, I did the right thing by getting Duralumen, getting graphite powder. But should I get an airbrush, which I think I will, I'll probably redo the whole armor. So that's it, guys. That's the comparison. I hope you enjoyed this. It really answered a lot of questions for me, because I'd never seen this airbrushed format up close, and man, it's really beautiful, really beautiful. So again, one more close-up look at both of these. So you've got the graphite powder. Sorry, it's a little bit dusty, but the graphite powder, or the shiny Duralumen airbrush. I mean, that's just, can you see? You can see the camera. It's that nice. It is that nice. So again, you want to win this helmet. This helmet has already been given away. You want to win this helmet? Head over to the Blues Bro and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this comparison, guys. As always, if you did, give me a like, give me a comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm Darth Rage. This is Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force.
The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.